I don't know. Welcome everybody. This is Home Team at 2 p.m. every Monday. And this is my awesome wife, Jessica. I'm Dr. Raul Serrano. And we're here because we want to just share with you guys. Share with you guys the strategies, the principles that we use in our lives that's been helping us and working for us. And this is a time where we get to just navigate with you guys the spiritual, mental, and physical part of raising a healthy family. So today, the title is, I forgot the title. Simplifying your health decision, making your health decisions simpler. And we chose that because you know, every time you get into a point or a position where you're going to make a decision, every decision you make in your life, whether it's health related, whether it's financial related, it's all based on your past, your beliefs, the things that you've learned throughout your life. And we want to really focus and hone in on the health one because everybody believes in something and everybody has a belief system, and we want to kind of break that belief system down and kind of chat about where that comes from. So as we get into this, we don't ask for a lot. The only thing that we ask you guys to do is to, if you have a comment or question, put that in there. We'll either answer it on this episode live, or we'll answer it, through the IMs or Facebook, or even on the next episodes that come up. And the other thing we ask is just that you share it. Just press the share button, because as you guys share this, this information gets out to other families that absolutely need to hear what the information that we're sharing. So
yeah, it's just kind of crazy how it's getting out there. Like I run into people at school, at Publix, at random places that are like, oh yeah, I feel like I know you. I see you on Facebook, and it's crazy, but it's getting out there. So thank you guys for sharing that.
Okay, so talking about belief systems. Everybody has a belief system, right? And I guess the way I want to go about this is, let's talk about when you make your health decision, right? Do we make our health decision with the belief that we are strong, that we are made in his wonderful image, that we are made in a way that our bodies are made to heal and to function correctly? Or do we make our decision based on the thinking that we're damaged, we're broken, we aren't made in his image? And that's really the two belief systems we're talking about. Now, what does that look like to us on a daily basis? What does that look like here nowadays? And when you look at that, what it looks like is that people start to think about or make decisions based on what they say is called research, scientific research, or medical research. And the funny thing about research, and when you talk about research, is that you can find research on both sides of any coin, right? Of any story. I can find research telling you that cancer should be treated with chemo. I could find research that says you should never treat with chemo. I could find research that says, vaccines are good. I could find research that says that vaccines are bad. Anything out there, you can find research on both sides of the story. And what typically happens is, whatever belief system you apply to or believe in or have been taught with or grown up with, you're going to find the research that supports your belief system. So this is why we don't want to go through today, in the next few minutes here, through what we believe. We want to go by principles. Principles or laws, those are things that are not changing. It doesn't matter what you believe in. When you have a principle or when you have a law, that is something that's concrete. Like, it doesn't change. The best example I can give, back in the day when they were getting on ships and traveling and on the earth, trying to find different countries and lands and stuff like that, they thought the belief was that the earth was what? Was flat, right? That was the belief. It didn't matter what they believed in, right? We all know nowadays that the earth is round. It had their belief had no bearing on the reality, on the truth. Same thing, I can say the same thing with gravity. Gravity is a law. Like, it exists, and we are bound by that law or that principle. If I had a pair of keys here or a pen and I dropped it, what happens every single time?
False.
It falls. It doesn't matter whether I believe in gravity or I don't. That's the principle, the law. So now what happens is, once you understand a principle or a law, that's step one. Step 2 to that principle, that law, would be to now apply its understanding to your life. Once you have a principle and a law and you apply the understanding to your life, now your decisions become simpler, right? Let's continue with the gravity example. If I was at the top of a 10-foot building, do I have to think, should I jump off of here? Is that a good or bad idea? No, there is no thinking. Why? Because I know that there's a law called gravity, and I don't have to think about that, because if I jump, I'm going to fall 100% of the time. So my application of the understanding of the law or the principle of gravity makes it to where the decision is simpler. So now we get into health.
Stick with us.
Stick with it. This is it right here. When you understand the principles and the laws of health, your decisions when it comes to your health become a lot simpler. Now, recognize we didn't say easy. There's still difficult decisions sometimes, but it becomes simpler because you understand that the body is made with this innate ability, right? You understand that, if I cut myself this morning when I was, shaving, that God put this amazing healing power inside my body, and that body, I didn't have to do anything for that body, for my body to make a scab, to heal that, because that innate ability is inside of me. And that healing power that's inside of us, God put that in one place and one place only. And that's your brain. Your brain controls everything. Your brain, for your heart to beat, for your lungs to breathe, for you to digest food, for your immune system to function, for anything in your body to heal, to function, your brain has to communicate that message to the body. So if you get into any interference with that message, then guess what? Your body doesn't function as well. And that's called the law of life. So when you start understanding this principle of health, your decisions become simpler. So anything, do you want to add to that, or any examples?
No, I think sometimes it becomes common sense, but I don't know if our health community, if that's something that we embrace. Like, I guess, like an anatomy book, I could easily look it up. And if you ask somebody, like, what controls everything in your body, it's pretty simple to say the brain. I don't think we need any more research on that one. But then when we think about the application, like, how does that affect our health? How does that affect our decisions? I think it's one of those things we kind of push under the rug and we don't talk about. All right, so if there's something interfering between the brain and the organ or whatever it might be, does that diminish your health and your function? And it does, but I think it's that gap that's missing. So what do we do with that information?
Jessica just said, I don't think we need any more research when it comes to that. So I get a lot of patients that say things like, oh, so can you show me the research, the scientific research that chiropractic works? And I'm like, well, it's back to the gravity example that I said at the beginning. Nobody's out there doing research to know if gravity exists or not. That's already been done. Same thing with the principle of health and life. Like, open up an anatomy book. That's where the research is. It already says the brain controls everything in your body, and nobody's doing research on that because it's already been done. That's already common knowledge. So
well, not even just that. I mean, the amount of chiropractic research or spine or nerves, like all of it's out there. Like you said, research is there.
Yeah. So can you tell a story about, it just happened today?
Oh, yeah. So this is in all aspects of health. And I think especially with moms and just everybody, like, you make health decisions every day. And I think the one that is most complicated is your nutrition decisions. So when you go to Publix and you're, there with a million different things to choose from. The other thing is diet plans. Like, a lot of people are repackaging nutrition plans and calling them different things. Not that they're good or bad, but, we have, like, the whole food, the Daniel diet. People are talking about paleo, gluten-free, ketones. So it can be overwhelming, and I get asked just about every day about those diets and the plans. And so just today I have a wonderful lady that helps us out on a weekly basis with the kids, and she said, so what do you think about such and such diet? I had no idea. I haven't read the books for these diets. It's a new trend. It starts with a K. I don't know what it is. And I told her, like, I don't really know the diet. However, I know the principle of nutrition. I know about healthy fats. I know about reducing sugar. And I know about healthy proteins. So she asked me a bunch of questions, and I just kept going back to that principle of health and those three things. And this particular diet was telling them to eat all the meat that they could. So whoever it was eating like bacon, beef, like all this stuff. But she didn't know about healthy proteins. So she was basically loading her body with toxins because maybe she was following the trend in the diet that somebody said was great and had some research behind it. But there was no guiding principle of nutrition to back that up. So knowing the principles can really help you look at anything and be able to make a simple choice based on the principle rather than an opinion about a trend or a diet.
Yeah, and when you think about the principles of health, the main principle that we're talking about when we talk about the principle of health, it's the fact that you either are focused on something outside of the body to heal you, or your focus that the inside of the body can heal you, right? If we went out into the front yard here and we looked at our garden, right? And there's a plant that let's say we put a flower.
You like to say garden, but yard.
Yeah, we don't have a garden. Not yet, anyways. We do have kind of a garden, no? Okay, anyways. Our front yard, and let's say I put a flower in our yard, and the flower wasn't flourishing. It was dying, right? Would I think, wow, I have a bad seed? Or would I think, wow, it's a bad flower? No, what would we think? The environment the flower's in is something's wrong with the environment the flower's in, right? We wouldn't think that something's wrong with the flower. We would either look at the soil, maybe water it more, maybe put some nutrients. So same thing with our bodies. You can't look at somebody or a person and say, wow, they're sick, they're suffering, they have, I don't know, allergies, they have, all these. My first question would be, well, what is the internal environment like? What is it that they're either putting in or not putting in? What's going on that's interfering with the body's own ability to heal? And that's a drastic, different way of looking at it, right? Because allergies. The common thing is to go and get a medication that's going to help with the allergies. That's outside in. What the theory, the principle we're talking about is, okay, not what can we give, but what can we do to make the internal environment stronger so that it can deal with the allergies.
Cool. And one thing that they were talking a lot about seminar is something that made me think about it. Like if we have a heart issue or something's going on with our heart, the one doctor said, well, can you wiggle your toe? Can you move your fingers?
Yeah.
And the answer is yes. So sometimes we have this one organ or even a part of our body that might be quote unquote failing and the rest of our body is fully functioning. Like how does that happen? That means our entire body isn't, sick. There's just one particular piece almost. And so what's allowing the rest of our body to heal and function, but what is interfering with that particular piece?
Yeah. And a lot of times that comes down to the nervous system. The nerves that are going to that area are being affected, and that's where we have to start when we start looking at our health and the way the body heals. So hopefully
that's just a piece.
That's one piece of the puzzle there. Anything else you want to add?
No.
So making health decisions simpler is looking at the body and the way it was designed. We didn't just randomly put all this dust together and we're just this random being. We were made in order, and with purpose. And when we're made like that by a creator, he's created us to know exactly what we need. He didn't create us deficient on Ambien or Zoloft or Abilify. He created us right. He created us the way we were meant. And what we have to do is find whatever is interfering with the healing process in the body, remove that interference, and allow the body to do what it does best. So I know we have a few people watching. Does anybody have any questions? If not, give us some thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Give us some hearts. Press the share button. We'll stay on for a few more seconds if anybody has any comments or questions so we can answer those. And then if not, we'll get off and we'll see you guys next week. And even if you're not watching this live, put some questions, some comments down, because we want to know as we move forward, what are you guys struggling with at home? Spiritually, mentally, physically, what are you struggling with? Because we want to answer those questions for you guys from our point of view and our perspective. So,
that's good.
Awesome. Guys, thank you guys. See you guys next week and have an awesome day.